Tonight, we're continuing our coverage of the storms and flooding that swept through our area earlier today and this evening. We've been gathering footage and surveying the storm damage from across northeast Wisconsin, with the storms now moving through our area and leaving. Just how much rain did our communities see? That's what we're going to be asking and answering tonight. Good evening. Thanks for joining us here at 9. You may be dealing with flooded streets and downed trees in your neighborhood right now.
Yeah, some parts of our area saw over 4 inches of rainfall in less than an hour and a half. Joining us now with the numbers behind the rain totals is Chief Meteorologist Patrick Powell. And Patrick, many areas saw flooding from all that rain.
Yeah, it's really difficult to handle that much rain in that short of a period of time. And we had many areas in northeast Wisconsin that saw exceptional amounts of rain through the afternoon and into this evening. We continue with a flash flood warning for the northeast sections of Manitowoc County, including Manitowoc, Two Rivers, and Mishicot, and a flood advisory around that through much of Manitowoc County. The rain, though, is starting to come to an end. Still raining in Kewaunee and Door County and the eastern sections of Manitowoc County, but this is going to be moving out over the next half hour to 45 minutes. So it is now working out towards the east. But the radar estimated rainfall has been awfully impressive in 3 main areas. One, Waushara County, where radar estimating somewhere between 2 and 4 inches over a good swath of the county. Right over the Lake Winnebago system, rainfall estimates of 2 to 3 or 3.5 inches, depending on your location, including some of our major cities. And then as we move over towards northern Manitowoc County, very heavy rainfall, 2 to 4 inches estimated by the radar, and it is still raining in some of those locations. Here's the preliminary rainfall totals. These are for today. Pine River at 4.46, Silver Lake at 4.44, Manitowoc 4.16, and Two Rivers 3.47, just under 3.5 in Wautoma, more like 2.25 in Kohler, Reedsville just over 2 inches, Oshkosh also just over 2 inches, Appleton 1.76, Grand Chute 1.72, and then amounts start to deteriorate a little bit as you work further north. East Green Bay 1.16, at the airport in Green Bay 1.08, Fond du Lac 1.03, and Omro at just over an inch. We will take a more detailed look at some of the storms that came through coming up in about 10 minutes.
All right, Patrick, thanks. The city of Wautoma is recovering tonight after the storms today. All of that rain caused some major flooding on city streets and 2 nearby state highways. This afternoon, there was a tornado warning for the city. Our Tony Langfellow spent the evening in the Fox 11 Storm Chaser, checking out the flooding and damage all across the area. He joins us now live from outside of our bureau. And Tony, how are the conditions specifically in Wautoma?
Well, Michelle, the Wautoma fire chief says this is the worst flooding the city has seen since 2001. The floods even caused part of a highway to be washed out. Let's now take a look at some of the video from earlier showing the floods in Wautoma. Now, this video that we're showing here was sent to us by a viewer. You can see cars and trucks are slowly making their way through downtown roadways as the waves crash over the sidewalks. I talked with Wautoma Police Chief Paul Mott, who says State Highways 21 and 73 had to be closed due to the flooding. One section of the road even saw 4 vehicles stalled. Some of those cars even getting enough water to cover their rooftops. Chief Mott says these floods came and went in the blink of an eye.
Just as fast as it came up, it went back down. And within an hour, we were able to open the highway back up. And we still have residual flooding in, some side streets and alleys and yards and things.
Now, Mott went on to say no injuries or deaths have been reported at this time, and the roads are once again back open. Reporting live in Grand Chute, Tony Langfellow, Fox 11 News.
All right, good to hear. Thanks so much, Tony. Appreciate it.
And we've been getting your storm photos and videos via the Chime In feature on our website. This picture was sent to us from Carol. It shows just how flooded a parking lot in Wautoma was from the more than 3 inches of rain that area saw. The water nearly at the halfway point of that wheel in the car there. This picture from Carrie in Waushara County shows just how much rain fell in her neighborhood. Thanks to both of you for those pictures. And if you experience severe weather in your area, we'd love to see it. If you can safely get those pictures, just scan the QR code on your screen to share your photos and videos with us. And this is the aftermath of a tornado that touched down in Dodgeville in Iowa County. This drone footage from our trading partner in Madison captures the path of the tornado there. It's still too early to tell the size and strength of the tornado, but crews with the National Weather Service are expected to be on the ground assessing the damage in the coming days. And you can track severe weather coming to our area anytime with the Fox 11 weather app. Just scan the QR code on your screen to download the app. It does feature live radar and the latest alerts.
Happening tomorrow, opening statements in the Tony Haas murder trial are set to begin at 1 p.m. Fox 11's Josh Cavender will be there and will be providing updates for us tomorrow on Fox 11 News at 5 and at 9. Haas is charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder for the deaths of Tana Togstad and Timothy Mumbrew. The trial is expected to last for 6 weeks. We're following the money tonight as a study has been released on the economic impact from the 2025 NFL Draft. The money spent related to that draft predictably exceeded expectations after attendance numbers did the same thing.
Yeah, however, the actual economic impact is much closer to projections. Fox 11's Ben Krumholtz breaks down the numbers.
The economic impact for Wisconsin in hosting the 2025 NFL Draft in Green Bay was $104.7 million, according to Sports Impacts. That's about 11% higher than the pre-draft projection of $94 million. That compares to a 140% increase in the 600,000 people the NFL says attended the 3-day draft over the projection of about 250,000 people.
Yeah, we expected it would be higher than the projections just because of the attendance figures being much higher.
Discover Green Bay President and CEO Brad Toll says a far more impressive difference is Brown County's actual economic impact compared to the projection. Sports Impacts found it was $72.9 million, a 264% jump from the projection of about $20 million.
Every staff member I ran into said they were hosting 20 to 40 people, at their home, and you hear all these different stories of people staying with other people locally. I don't think we expected that.
Sports Impact says in its 25 years of conducting market research analysis for sporting events, it has never encountered an event with such a high percentage of non-locals staying with local family and friends. The firm surveyed about 2,000 draft attendees and found about 21% were staying with someone they knew. That compares to about 24% of draft attendees paying for overnight lodging. Almost 30% made a day trip to attend the draft, while about 24% was from Brown County.
It was similar to a game day where I think over 80% of the people at Lambeau Field on game day aren't from Brown County. We really saw Packer fans fill in from all over everywhere. So we had a very high number of unique visitors as a result of that.
The number of unique visitors for the event is pegged at 362,588. Sports Impacts also did the economic impact study for Detroit's draft last year and says it had more than 467,000 unique visitors. Detroit's draft economic impact, however, was more than double Green Bay's. Sports Impact says a major reason is people make and spend more in larger markets like Detroit. Now that the numbers have been crunched, local organizers say they are much better prepared if the draft were to ever return, which they believe is likely.
As the evening ended, I was standing next to Peter O'Reilly, who's the Senior Vice President of Events, and I looked at him and I said, "A decade?" And he smiled and nodded.
In Ashwaubenon, Ben Krumholtz, Fox 11 News.
According to Packers and local officials, it cost about $11.3 million to put on the event. That includes contributions from the Packers, Stadium District Board, a state grant, and donations to the local organizing committee.
We reported before not every local shop in the area had a massive jump in business that they were expecting or hoping for during the draft.
Yeah, and tonight we have some more numbers that may give a better idea as to why some businesses underperformed. Fox 11's Marlo Lundak brings us a closer look at how residents and visitors spent their money.
You might think the construction at Kroll's West is a result of making huge money throughout the NFL draft. After all, the draft was quite literally steps outside the restaurant's parking lot. But
slightly disappointing.
That assumption would be wrong. Vicki Malik says day one of the draft was busy, but the rest?
And then we were all excited for Friday, Saturday, and we felt like it was less than what a Packer game would have brought in.
And that's as Discover Green Bay says Kroll's West was one of the most visited non-NFL associated sites during the event.
I think what happened to us is our normal base crowd that we had for tailgating for Packer games, they probably, most of them avoided us because they didn't want to come into the parking nightmare possibility.
Regulars at Kroll's West shied away, and data backs that up. Credit card data from the days surrounding the draft show that resident spending was down compared to the same days last year. Residents did 5% less spending on gas, 21% less on groceries, 11% less on restaurants, and 8% less on retail. But residents did spend 127% more at area bars. City tourism leaders recognize the ups and downs.
When you bring even an event of this magnitude in, not every business in the community is going to do really well.
To no one's surprise, visitor spending skyrocketed compared to the same days last year. Visitor spending on gas and groceries were up 54% and 9%. Retail spending was up 268%, and restaurant spending was up 231%. And of course, the biggest winner was once again for local bars, with a 946% increase in visitor spending.
We had buses come in from our other bars and even buses from other places, and they would come in through our parking lot, and we'd be so full during the day because we'd get packed in the morning from the Dan Patrick show that we almost had to, send them back out the door because we had so many people in the bar.
But even for places like the bar on Holmgren Way that saw those massive crowds, there were still some surprises.
We actually didn't do as well in food sales as we thought we were going to do, but we did very well on beer sales and stuff as that.
The biggest takeaway from the draft could very well be that it's nearly impossible to perfectly predict consumer behavior, and it's clear that much of Green Bay experienced just that. In Green Bay, Marlo Lundak, Fox 11 News.
Now, overall, combining both residents and visitors, total spending in the area throughout the several-day stretch of the draft came out to a 4% increase compared to the same time last year.